What up, it's your boy Pat, that Varsity Geek, here with another weekend recommendation video for you guys, looking at the weekend of May 15th through 17th. Now I know it's probably like beating a dead horse at this point. Due to the pandemic, sports are still canceled all over the place, not much going on. But there is some exciting news if you're a baseball fan. You can go check out the KBO, which is the Korean Baseball Organization. Now, for all you baseball fans, the KBO has started up their season, and they're planning to play all 144 of their games. So this is at least something that you can sink your teeth into and watch if you're looking for baseball, because the MLB still has not started, and there's no telling on when they're going to decide on how to start their season and how they want to proceed. But the KBO is a really good baseball conference, and in terms of on-the-field play, it's nearly identical to what you're going to see in the MLB. And there's really only a couple of slight differences. One in being that the KBO has 10 teams, whereas the MLB has 30 teams. So in the KBO, each team is going to be playing every other team 16 times, whereas in the MLB, you're not going to see all those matchups as consistently and as many times. Also, the KBO only has 5 teams in the playoffs. There's a universal hitter rule in the KBO, as well as them actually allowing the game to end in a tie after it's gone past 12 innings. But those aren't really huge differences or issues when you're talking about a baseball product. So it's definitely something that baseball fans can sink their teeth into and to go watch. Now, if you're wondering, but Pat, where do I find these KBO games at? Don't worry, I got you. So you can find these games streaming on KBO's Twitch channel, or you can find it on ESPN. ESPN will be broadcasting one KBO game every day that they have a game scheduled. So you can either watch it on the actual ESPN channels, or you can watch it on the ESPN app on any device, or on things like Fire TVs, Apple TVs, Roku, stuff like that. But there is one thing that I want to warn you about. These games will be broadcast on the early morning slots on ESPN, and will be playing early in the morning on the KBO Twitch channel. So your best bet is probably going to be to DVR them and watch them later in the day, unless you want to get up that early. So in terms of this weekend, there was a game that was broadcast earlier today, which is Friday, May 15th. And that broadcast was at 5:30, which is going to be the broadcast time for all the KBO games on Friday. However, at 2 o'clock when this video was dropping, they're going to be doing a replay of that game, and they should be doing replays of the game throughout the weekend. Now, in terms of Saturday and Sunday, the 16th and the 17th, there will be one game broadcast on ESPN each day at 4 a.m. So like I was telling you, these games are going to be on really early. Probably best for you to DVR them and watch them later. But if you're a baseball fan and you're itching for some baseball, this is an option that you can take. Now, for all you nerds and geeks, there's definitely some news this week that is super exciting, and I am stoked to tell you about it. All the seasons of Avatar: Last Airbender are now on Netflix as of today, Friday, May 15th. And if you're an anime fan or a cartoon fan, or heck, really just a nerd or a geek in general, there's no way that you don't know about Avatar: The Last Airbender, and there's no way that you can't be hyped for this. Now, Avatar: The Last Airbender takes place in a world where there are 4 main nations, each with the ability to use a certain type of power called bending. Now, each power is based on a different element, being fire, earth, water, and wind. This is kind of how the society is broken up in this world. Each different type of bending has its own kind of different country. You have the air nomads, the fire nation, the earth kingdom, and you have the water tribes. Now, a person can only use one type of bending, and their type and aptitude for that really is generally determined at birth and can be built up through training and experience. However, during each generation, one avatar is chosen, and the avatar is the only person who can master all 4 different types of bending. And their job is to really keep the peace in the world between all the different types of benders. Now, during the plot of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the current Fire Lord Ozai, has declared war on all the other nations and is trying to take over the entire world. But unfortunately for all the other nations, the Avatar was nowhere to be found. And years later, 2 young members of the Water Tribe find the Avatar frozen in a glacier near their territory, and they free him. Hence why he wasn't around. He was frozen while the Fire Lord was trying to take over the world. And so the show follows the new Avatar's journey to really bring peace to the world and defeat the Fire Lord. Now, Avatar: The Last Airbender's original run was from 2005 until 2008 on Nickelodeon. But Avatar has been broadcast on a whole bunch of different streaming sites all throughout the years and all throughout the world. It's really one of the first American anime, so to speak, and it pulls heavily from that anime genre, as well as pulling from Eastern influences that are really seen throughout the entire show. Now, I'd argue that it's really a turning point in the way that anime was viewed in the States. It's kind of one of the first bridge shows between anime and American cartoons. Now, when you're talking about the animation for Avatar: The Last Airbender, it was flawless for the time. Everything looked nice. They had nice, smooth lines. All of the movements that all the benders were using were nice and flowing, and you could really tell the difference between each bender's different style. Whereas the firebenders were more aggressive in their moves, and the waterbenders were more flowing. It all made sense and it all looked really good. Now, as for any show that I really loved, the plot elements were great and they were nicely developed. The plot was really whimsical and fun at times, but it didn't shy away from really deep, heavy, thought-provoking things. It was really a show that you could identify with from any angle, and it's really something that could just help you navigate the difficulties of life. It's an amazing show that I suggest everybody watch, anime or non-anime fan, because it's a classic that everybody can watch and enjoy, and everybody will be able to pull something out of. I mean, my girlfriend, who doesn't really watch anime and that kind of stuff, she even loves Avatar: The Last Airbender, and we've watched it together. So, everybody can really pull something from the show and identify with it. And now it's finally coming to Netflix in the US as of today, May 15th. So this is definitely something that I'm going to be binging through again, even though I have the entire Avatar: The Last Airbender series on DVD. It's definitely something that I'm going to be checking out because it's super convenient to be able to just pull up Netflix and watch something that's this great. Now, if you're looking for some video games to get into for the weekend, I definitely think that you should go back and you should check out Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm suggesting you go back and play Pokemon Sword and Shield. Well, it's because this is the perfect time to go back and tie up any of your loose ends before the first part of the DLC drops, which will introduce the Island of Armor. Now, I'm sure you all know that Pokemon Sword and Shield are the two newest installations for the series, and they were released on November 19th, 2019. Now, you can look at Pokemon Sword and Shield really as an answer to what fans have been crying out for so long. They finally put a mainline Pokemon game on a home console, which was the Switch, as opposed to putting it on a mobile console like you had with the Game Boys and the 3DSs, things like that. Now, the game has 3D graphics, which are better than anything that we've seen from the mainline Pokemon series, and of course it was going to be like that because it's finally on a home console, not a handheld, so there's a lot more power and processing speed and things like that for the creators to work with. Now, some people argued that the graphics should be better, that they're not much different than Pokemon Go on the Switch, but still, in terms of a mainline Pokemon series, these are the best graphics we've ever had. Now, in recent installments, if you've been keeping up with Pokemon, you know that they consistently add new little gimmicks to help change up fighting and make the game stand out, such as Mega Evolutions, Z-moves, and things like that. Well, the new gimmick for Pokemon Sword and Shield is Dynamaxing, which allows your Pokemon to grow huge and also changes their moves depending on the typing of each one of those moves. It also introduced a new place called the Wild Area, which is a huge open world area in Pokemon Sword and Shield where you're going to be spending a lot of time traveling and really where you're going to be doing a lot of your Pokemon capturing. There's a lot of cool stuff to be found in the wild area. There's Pokemon wandering around. One of the great things about Pokemon Sword and Shield is that you're not really going to be running into a lot of random battles. All the Pokemon you can pretty much see on the screen and choose whether you want to run into them or not and fight them, catch them, etc. But the wild area was really a part of Pokemon Sword and Shield that people seem to love, and they love being able to do all the different things with that. Now, the new expansion will be introducing 2 new areas, the first of which will be the Island of Armor, which will come in this first round of DLC that drops in June. So like I said, with the new DLC's first wave dropping in June, this is the perfect time to take this month. Make sure you tie up all those loose ends in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and make sure that you're ready to jump into the Island of Armor when the DLC drops. Now, these are just some recommendations that I have for you this weekend. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any things that you can think of that you would love to see a recommendation video on. Let me know your opinions on any of the things that I've talked about. Tell me what you think of Avatar: The Last Airbender and where it stacks up in your pantheon of animes or cartoons. Just holler at me and chop it up with me in the comments. I've been Pat That Varsity Geek. Peace out, have a great weekend, and go check out Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix.